friends? Welcome to Game 3 between PewQ and Raytional in this King of the Beta tournament. Remember, the winner of this game right here advances to the finals to face the winner of La Hopa and Ghost Bomb in a best-of-5 beatdown matchup. It's going to be really exciting. I'm excited to see which one of these players is able to pull it out. As a quick review, PewQ's Decay build was able to defeat Raytional's Mono Energy range in Game 1. Raytional came back with a Mono Energy Structure build in Game 2 and was able to defeat PewQ's Decay deck. Now PewQ looking to answer the Structure build, and he has done it in style. Let's take a look at PewQ's deck here. He is actually playing the Growth, Decay, Samata Shift Control build. This build, remember, was very recently nerfed with the change to Curse and how it interacts with Quake and Frostgale, but PewQ will not be denied. He's playing it anyway. For those unaware, this deck takes advantage of the two best 5-drops in the game, the only 6 creatures in the deck, 3 copies of Oblivion Seeker, 3 copies of Kinfolk Veteran. He summons them into play cheaply with Samata Shift for only 3 resources, generating really powerful value. That is the core of the deck, and everything built around is a bunch of removal, a bunch of control, a bunch of card draw, things like that. It's really an interesting deck to play because it makes you think on your heels. You have to play a little bit differently when you're playing with and against this matchup. And Raytional's deck on the right will be his Structure Control with a sub-theme of automatons. So this will be a very interesting matchup. Don't let the control versus control title scare you. It is not going to be boring by any means. These players are going to have to think very carefully with their plays and play the game a little bit differently. Raytional particularly needs to recognize what his opponent is playing. All he knows right now is that there's a growth sacrificed for. So right now maybe he's anticipating a mono growth aggro build, so he will have to adjust quickly and realize that he cannot be the control deck in this matchup. He's going to have to be the beatdown. He's going to have to use those Replicatons and other 3-drops to put some early pressure on PewQ before he can just run him over with card advantage and resource advantage. Raytional says he has a bad mulligan. PewQ is okay with that because he's got all the time in the world to set up now, though PewQ thinks his hand isn't great either, and a couple of roads actually will be pretty good in this matchup, but not yet. Raytional looks like he has actually a pretty strong hand for this build. Because he's got a couple of early drops. PewQ is still sacrificing up in growth only, so Raytional does not anticipate the decay yet. First creature played out, it's a Replicaton on turn 3 for Raytional. Turn over to PewQ, who won't have a play yet either, just sacrifices for scrolls, 3 Fertile Soils in hand. Unfortunate start for him. Raytional may be able to get to an early start here. Has Hired Smuggler, has Automaton Forge. This is a great play, but Raytional doesn't have a clue that PewQ is running these erodes, so he's going to double erode right here and take out this Automaton Forge. And not only is that going to get the kill, but it's going to increase his decay by 2. That is the equivalent of gaining +4 cards, arguably more in this deck. More advantage than that because he's going to be able to sacrifice for wild immediately. So let's see those erodes come down. 1, 2, doesn't even kill the structure, but that doesn't matter. 2 decay for PewQ. He'll be able to go up to 4 wild now. Excellent for him. Raytional had no idea that was coming and needs to figure out how to react. He has another Forge down, that will be great, and then a Hired Smuggler. Hopefully for him, he's able to get value off those Forges before Quakes come out, and it's going to take 2 Quakes to kill the Forge, or a Quake and a Shift into a Kinfolk Veteran. Soulsteel comes down, takes out the Hired Smuggler. Note that he chose that instead of the Replicaton, even though Raytional was out of resources and it could have permanently killed the Replicaton. Cannon Auto comes down. Round 6 Cannon empties Raytional's hand. He's hoping that that cannon can do some work. PewQ is going to be looking for removal to take it out. He Fertile Soils his free Mire Shambler and follows it up with a Languid on the Replicaton, reducing its effectiveness dramatically. Looking at his hand here, what's he going to be doing in the next few turns? Well, he could just play out Oblivion Seeker with plans to Fertile Soil it soon after, or he could shift out and see what he gets and then Fertile Soil that. Fertile Soil really is one of the things that makes this deck go. When you're getting all these free creatures from the Rat Kings and the Nognests and the Soul Steels, being able to turn them into 3 scrolls is just extraordinarily powerful. Raytional finds an Oculus Cannon and sacrifices for scrolls, finds another cannon and a burn. Unfortunately, neither particularly useful right now, so he uses his resource to generate another gun auto, and then goes ahead and sticks out an Oculus Cannon right in the middle of the board, hoping to limit PewQ's movement. The thing is, PewQ's deck doesn't really care about movement. He'll just summon things where they need to be and let them stay there. The cannon auto is in position to deal some serious damage. Samada Shift comes down and randomly finds a Kinfolk Veteran. That'll kill the gun auto. Moves it up actually to take out the top gun auto, and then plays out an Oblivion Seeker hard casted from the hand. Turn goes to Raytional. Something to note, Raytional may be tempted here to kill units with his units, but I think he needs to focus particularly on idols. PewQ doesn't care if his creatures die. He's going to be summoning them all game long off of Eye of Eagles, off of Samada Shifts, and hardcasted and just drawing a million cards. He doesn't care, and perhaps wants you to kill this Oblivion Seeker. So I want this cannon auto to instead hit idols, and I think Raytional is going to know that. He's played against this deck before. He does burn the Kinfolk Veteran. I'm comfortable with that move. And then moves his cannon auto to the middle, dropping the center idol already to 1 health. So he's done good damage by round 9 already. PewQ Fertile Soils the Oblivion Seeker to draw 5 scrolls. And then plays out another Oblivion Seeker from his hand, continuing to defend those idols. Raytional will be in a position right now, if he wants, to take out that Replicaton. Or, I'm sorry, use the Replicaton to take out the center idol. He does shift his cannon auto down, plays Ekamaton in the middle. Maybe, what's his plan here? Is he just going to deal a little bit of damage to the Oblivion Seeker? He does, instead of taking out that idol. I guess he's assuming the Oculus Cannon will at some point get some piercing damage and just finish it off already. But Quake comes down and kills a ton of stuff. Frostgale follows, followed by Return to Nature. There goes Raytional's board presence, gone, just like that. 3 scrolls played. PewQ able to do that off the massive card draw. A Stormrunner comes down. Unfortunately, another Stormrunner for Raytional. Stormrunner really not good in this matchup. PewQ doesn't care about his creatures. Like I said earlier, it's all about defending those idols, and for Raytional, all about putting pressure on those idols. Halls of Umlasa comes down along with a Nognest. Look at all of this card advantage. Really value plays. Double Nognest indeed. Raytional may try to get those Stormrunners over to try to target those, but because of where he positioned them, that's going to be difficult to do. He power trips into a free scroll draw, pitches a burn, has Ekamaton and Scout auto to play, and then he may want to pump down a Forge, but he may just play out the Ekamaton. That's probably what I would do. Though I guess he has the resources for both off the power trip. So he does play everything out and then pumps out the Forge, and his Stormrunner will be able to hit one of these Nognests for a little bit of damage. PewQ now able to draw from his graveyard off of the Halls of Umlasa, picks the Frostgale intelligently. Eye of Eagle finds a Kinfolk Veteran. Frostgale comes down, Frostgale number 2 comes down, Return to Nature comes down, pops everything, and then a Kinfolk Veteran. PewQ gets yet another board clear. Wow. Though note, that did and Raytional does indeed say wow, but do note that that was not a free play by PewQ. It took him a number of scrolls to make that happen. Now, several of them were free and off of lots of card draw, but I believe that PewQ only has 1 card in hand now. He will be drawing extra off the halls, but it's not like he can do that every turn. He really needs to work to set those plays up. Burn comes down to finish off the Kinfolk Veteran, who's already done his work, and then finds an Iron Whip, has Scout or Replicaton to come down. He chooses the Replicaton, getting the higher attack creature out first, and he also has 2 energy, so if it does die, that's okay. PewQ's turn now. What is he going to select from his graveyard? Finds Rat King from his deck, and then Kinfolk Veteran from his graveyard. So he could Rat King Fertile Soil, but no, he's okay just playing out a Veteran. That'll take out the Replicaton and really just bounce it back to Raytional's hand, but that's okay. See the Nognest, though. They're going to spawn next turn. Let's see if Raytional can do anything about that. Sacrificing a Machine Chant. Has 9 resources to play with. Goes Replicaton into Scout Automaton. Will he bombard here? It looks like he's going to. He does bombard. That prevents 2 of the Nogs from spawning. I would have liked him, instead of dealing 1 damage to the Kinfolk Veteran, to go ahead and take out that middle idol with the Scout auto, but he does instead decide to put the Kinfolk on 2 health. Halls of Umlasa generates even more value, finds Rat King out of the graveyard. Eye of Eagle finds an Oblivion Seeker. He can now Oblivion Seeker into Fertile Soil, but no, he just sacrifices the Fertile Soil. And check out this interaction here. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread the situation. I'll save that for later. He does have access to God Hand resources, so off of the Nog Nest and all of these plays, he just God Hands and deals some idle damage, takes out Raytional's units. So PewQ has now shifted into winning the game mode. He's going to start putting a lot of pressure on Raytional, who needs to figure out a way to turn this game back around. PewQ has played it masterfully and has found the board clears at the right time. Cannon Auto comes down off the power trip. Raytional can afford the second Cannon Auto and indeed places it into play. Both played on top, away from where PewQ could theoretically God Hand, though if he does have the Rat King Necro combo if he chooses. Samata Shift finds an Oblivion Seeker. Moves up to get closer to those cannon autos, perhaps going for a Necrogeddon. Here's the Rat King, so that's a lot of creatures in play. Is the Necrogeddon going to come? I gotta think it's going to. And here it is, everything turned into husks. So not only does he of course generate a ton of husks and a ton of damage this turn, but he draws 4 scrolls off the 2 dead Oblivion Seekers. Tremendous value on that play from PewQ. Samata Shift finding a Seeker into Rat King into Necrogeddon. It's not going to be able to kill both of these cannon autos because of armor. It'll actually only take out one and deal 2 damage to another, but it is going to take out an idol. A little bit of wasted damage here as he positions around Thunder Surge and is able to take another idol down to 1 health. Big play by PewQ. Raytional, what you going to do to respond here? Trick him into quaking? I guess that might be your only option. Let's see, just a bunch of creatures in hand, some charge coils, but those aren't going to, they just die to quake. They're too slow for this matchup. Gun Auto comes down in front. Charge coil comes down to try to block one of the idols. Second charge coil played as well. Played up top. If those are able to get some hits, they might be able to generate some value for Raytional, but with Quake in hand, though PewQ probably isn't going to be quaking right away. God Hand, though, off of the Languid, that's going to happen for sure, and that will end the game. That is just a ton of damage that's coming in. PewQ is going to take this one 2 games to 1 with the switch to what everyone thought was nerfed and out of the metagame. Samata Shift control shows that it's alive and well and still able to work with a round 16 win. Well done, PewQ. Raytional probably feels a little bit blindsided, and indeed after the match reported that he was surprised to see this deck, and I think we all were. Well done to PewQ. This has been the king of the beta tournament. Check out the finals coming soon. PewQ will be taking on the winner between La Hopa and Ghost Bomb. Thank you everyone for watching.